Hey everyone, this is Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. I'll be updating my Everyday Explorers 52 Faves journal. It is a 3-month journal that I have turned into a yearly project to document a favorite photo from the week for every week of 2022 this year. I'm starting with April because I had thought I'd already completed March. So I'm going to do April and then March and then May. And to put together this book, it's very, very simple. I am going with one of the alphas and then a grid washi tape that I kind of cut because it's too thick. And I put the extra piece that I cut on the bottom. Then I put my photos on and some stamped sentiments, and that is it. But I am absolutely loving this project and how quick the months come together and how fun it's going to be to look back and see all of these photos. And again, when I write down my notes for each of the weeks, I put it on my calendar. There's a calendar in the front of this journal, and I'm using that to jot down a little note about what happened during the week. So I start off with my husband's birthday and my daughter's recital, and then this amazing photo I got of the kids in Oma and Opa. I did a flap so that way you could see underneath a photo of just the kids on Easter. I also have a photo of my son and Sacramento Republic captain, Roro, that's what they call him, and my son was so excited to get a picture with him. Now, when I look at the photos, that helps me determine what kind of stamps I'm going to pull out. So I pulled out the sports stamp so that way I could stamp #1 fan. I also found a kind of adventure stamp that says off to explore, and I had a thankful type stamp, and I stamped my heart is full and love this so much. And the fun thing for me is seeing different ways that I can use these stamp sets, because I think most of the stamp sets I pulled for April were actually from mini book stamp kits. So that's a fun new way to use the stamp set. I mean, now it's just, a regular stamp set that's in my collection, and I can find many more uses for it. So I have also stamped the weekly numbers and fuzzy cut those out as well, and I will adhere those down. And I think just like last time in the first video, I got some of the weeks wrong, so I'm going to have to fix that in just a minute because the photo of my husband and me and our daughter is number 13, and I think I put 14. But I'm going to go ahead and fix that because I do wind up including 5 weeks on this page. 5 weeks on this page, and I'm going to do, I think, the same thing in March because the last week in March is half March and half April, and it was both my husband's birthday and my son's birthday, and I wanted to make sure I included a photo from both of those events, and since it's my project, I can do that, right? So that's why there is that many weeks in there, 5 weeks. Now I'm going to go back to the calendar, use my gray marker to make a little bullet point, and then write in the number of weeks. So I'm going to do 14, 15, 16, and 17. And then I'll jot in the little note. The last photo was a bird tower that we found on a hike, and so that was for number 17. And then I talked about celebrating Easter, and my daughter finished up her ballet class and had a wonderful recital. So that is April, and I took one last little leftover sentiment, the heart, and added it to the Oma Opa picture. Okay, going back to March, I'm going to use green letters, but I do not have green grid washi. So I'm just going to use kind of the black and white grid washi, and that will work just fine. That's the same washi that I used for the calendar, but it's okay. I do need to get some grid green washi. That would be nice. So I am cutting that, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want it cut a little bit, and I add it to the top and to the bottom. And for this spread, I will have 2 flaps. I know I could just stick to one photo, but it is so hard for me to pick just one photo. It's so hard. So doing these flaps makes it so I don't have to choose that. And it also makes for a chunky notebook. So And I had to include the photo of my daughter sitting on top of me while I was trying to help her with some homework. We were on the floor doing some homework, I think, and then she just decided to climb on top of me. And it was a really great photo that I captured during Day in the Life. So I included that and also a photo of my son and I on Day in the Life, which is a project that Allie Edwards started and does. So I have another lift up photo of St. Patrick's Day, and I put the decorations on top, and then a ridiculous photo of us after dinner. If you could see it close up, you would see my daughter has like this wide eye, like, what is your problem? Look for her big brother, and it's priceless. So I had to include both of those. I also have the week of the 13th, like I mentioned a little bit ago, because my son turned 13 during week 13, and I had a very hard time with that. I was very emotional the whole day. It was a big birthday, at least. Well, it is a big birthday, and it was for me. I was just very emotional. I have all the weeks stamped, and now I'm just going to glue them into the corners. I try to find a corner that has like some negative space, so that way I'm not covering up anything. And I usually try to, rotate where I put the different days. That way it gives a little bit of visual interest. And then I will move on to stamping my different phrases. And again, I just tried to go with phrases that matched my photos. And as soon as I saw the stamp set, I'd be like, oh, does that work? Yep, it works, so I'm going to stamp it. Like there was a mini book stamp set from number 6, Childhood Favorites or something like that, and I found Love This and Yay for that one. Use the sports again for Ready for This. I also stamp Oh Hello Real Life, of course, for that photo of Day in the Life. And then the Ready for This, that is because my son joined a competitive soccer league. So we were super proud of him, and he had to go pick up his uniform that day. So I'm going to glue these down and then write down the little notes in my weekly calendar, and then I will move on to April. So Bloom and Grow I put next to my son's birthday photo, and Love This I put next to that photo too. And then the soccer photo up on the left, I added a phrase that said yay. So I'm going to go back to the calendar and add the notes, and I will need to add another box for 13 because March is going to have 5 weeks. So I just added that in, and then just added a little note about how it was my son's and my husband's birthdays, and we celebrated that. It doesn't happen every year that their birthdays are in the same week, but it does happen, and it's fun to be able to celebrate their birthdays. This year it was my son at the beginning of the week and my husband at the end of the week, so it was fun. The last month I'm going to do in this video is May, and I'm going with the blue teal color, and I think it is so pretty for May. I will again cut the grid washi. I have the perfect matching one, and then I will add it up at the top. And I only have one flap lift up of an extra photo. So I had a lot of great photos this month, and I just had a hard time choosing. It's always hard for me to choose. So I'm going to add my grid washi and then figure out where my photos are going to go. And just a reminder that I go to my weekly folders in my computer because that's how I sort my photos, and I just pick one photo from that weekly folder to be kind of the highlight photo for the week. So for week 18, I picked that photo my husband got of me hiking on the cliffs. And then that same week, my son ran for treasurer, so I had to include those photos as well. I have the lift up photo so you can see him and his pose that he did, because we made some posters over the weekends, that way he could put them up around the school. And then the 19th, my daughter got a promotion in karate, so I included that photo. And that's kind of how I pick my photos, just going into my weekly folders and deciding what is the favorite photo, right? I am going to go ahead and stamp the weeks with this Distress Oxide ink that is my absolute favorite. It's the Salvage Patina. I just love it. If I could stamp everything in that ink color, I probably would. I chose some prompt stamps, extra prompt stamps this time. I have currently celebrating, love this memory, and this view is breathtaking. And then the bigger stamps I chose was currently loving and this month. So those prompt stamps are so versatile for so many reasons, and they're the perfect size to just add right on top of a photo, which is what I'm going to do for the Pioneer costumes that we are wearing. I'm going to put love this memory. Oh, and another little tip that I have is that when I am compiling these pages and days, I keep a little list right next to me while I'm working, so that way I know what week goes with what, and I also leave out my planner. So it's either one of those two, either a list or my planner or both. That way I don't get any of the days mixed up, and I know what photo goes with what week. And I will glue down my weekly numbers, 18, 19, 20, and 21. 18 and 20 both have are the top row, and they both have multiple photos, which is fine. It works out fine to do that because there's 8 slots, so it's nice. The currently celebrating has a wine glass, so I just cut that off and put it underneath where my son's poster photo is. And then I will add this month, and this view is breathtaking over in the far right box, and that's it. So there is the 3 months. There is March, April, and May, and I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing these pages come together. I would love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you are new to my channel. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.